Hey everybody, this your girl TattooRika right here. Sorry I sound like this. The people who decided to douse me in the last MrBallen video with the water balloon, well, I ended up getting sick. And one I can get, the other one is pregnant, and I don't need no charges on that. But anyway, so today we're about to react to the new MrBallen video that just came out today. It's called Police Prank Criminal on Camera. So y'all, I love these MrBallen videos, and they got another one I'm gonna react to today too, because that was requested. And I got to shout out Glowjet and Dante for putting me on these. So shouts out to y'all, love y'all. So anyway, let's get into this video. I hope you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Also, you know what, hit up the super thanks. This girl need to change. We gotta change things up around here. She need better stuff, better equipment and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get into this. Let's go. And I got my I have my medicine and my water. So if I feel like this, please, I'm sorry. I can't help that. But anyway, let's get into this and let's go. I'm gonna fuck them up when I get the change.
In South Florida filming when a truly diabolical crime.
I missed it.
In 2009, the popular true crime TV show Cops just happened to be in South Florida filming when a truly diabolical crime was committed there. And so cops captured this crime on camera. But someone in their footage was hiding something. And when you know what that something was, it becomes very obvious when you watch. But before we get into today's story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place, because that's all we do, and we upload once or twice every week. So if that's of interest to you, please ask the like button if you can borrow their car for the week, and then when they say yes, spend that week driving around picking up as much roadkill as possible and packing it into their trunk. Picking up as much roadkill as you possibly can and pack it into their back seat in their trunk, and then return the car. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's story. Michael DiPolito grew up in a very rough neighborhood in South Philadelphia where violence, drugs, and prostitution were just normal parts of everyday life. At a young age, like his parents, Michael became an alcoholic. He also developed a very serious drug addiction that he paid for by selling drugs. Michael would eventually drop out of high school and...
Okay, that's really him. Oh, what does he look like? What's his name? It is an actor. I forgot what he looked just like him though. I forgot his name. He's in the he reminds me of a dude in the movie Casino. I gotta look at it. I don't remember.
Not long after that, he became homeless and was living out on the streets, sleeping in abandoned buildings at night to stay warm. In 1993, when Michael was still in South Philadelphia, he was arrested for the first time. He was charged with possession of an unknown drug, as well as intent to distribute this unknown drug. Court records don't specify what drug this was. However, Michael just did not show up for court, and so a warrant was put out for his arrest. Michael would somehow manage to evade police capture, and by 1997, he had fled South Philly altogether and landed in South Florida in a town called Boca Raton. Shortly after arriving there, Michael was arrested for a second time, this time for offering an undercover police officer $15 in exchange for sex. Michael would plead guilty to...
Wait, pause. Wait. What? $15.
Michael was arrested for a second time, this time for offering an undercover police officer $15 in exchange for sex.
If $15 is either, yeah, well, it's prostitute, you just let the officer, but let's be real, like even a prostitute, well, it depends. You said 2009, so well, no, because I got like, no, well, I can't say nothing because there's a broad that's on Manhattan Boulevard, like straight up, and she's been there probably for like 20 something years. 30 or 40 bucks to get you whatever she won't. So that's just what it is. And the only reason I know that is because I went to school with the chick. If you gonna give it up, at least like make sure it's high price, especially if you keep it clean. Come on.
Michael would plead guilty to soliciting prostitution. However, he would just get released. A year after the prostitution arrest, Michael was sued by a former girlfriend named Karen Tan, who claimed he was the father of her son, and so he owed her child support. And Karen had a DNA test that backed up this claim. However, Michael, again, would just not show up for court, and before long, Karen just gave up and dropped the lawsuit. Michael was likely very relieved when this happened because at the time, he was making almost no money through a temp agency. And so after this lawsuit gets dropped, Michael decides, I need to go out and make some real money.
Well,
and somehow on his quest...
Look how he looked. He looked like as if he kind of semi-buff. He could go ahead and like, well, no, because you got to go be certified to be a personal trainer or some shit. So that's what I was saying. Be a professional bodybuilder or something, or you could he go and work at a male strip club. Just go strip. That's my answer to everything. Like for you can even ask D Money Neal. I always tell him like see fall on hard times, just be a stripper.
Quest to find a more lucrative opportunity, Michael was introduced to associates of the Bonanno family. And the Bonanno family is one of the infamous 5 families that dominates organized crime across the United States.
Yes.
They are literally the...
If y'all have ever watched, it's a movie. It was a long time ago. It was like a Lifetime movie. But it's called Love, Honor, and Obey, The Last Mafia Marriage. They talk about the Bonanno family, what's it called? Provaci family, and the other 3 families as well. So, but that was like those particular families, like when they first came from Sicily to the United States, those are like the main families of organized crime. So like, y'all got, yeah. Y'all really got to get some because I love mafia.
Italian mafia. And after the mafia met Michael, they took a liking to him and they did offer him a more lucrative, albeit illegal, opportunity.
Right.
They gave him a role inside one of their so-called boiler rooms. A boiler room is not literally a boiler room. Instead, it's a group of fraudsters that use high-pressure sales tactics to steal money from unsuspecting victims.
Right.
Typically, the way it works is the fraudster will cold call someone and they will tell them that they have this great get-rich-quick scheme, but you got to give me your money right now if you want to be a part of it. And so when the victim says, okay, that sounds great, and they wire the money along, the fraudster just steals their money. Michael, who was very charismatic and a natural salesman, got really good at tricking people into giving him their money. And so eventually, Michael realized he could make a lot more money if he started his own boiler room, where his commission could be much higher on the money he stole. And so fairly abruptly, he left.
Because with stuff like that, and especially if you're dealing with the mafia, it's 2 things you got to look at. Wait, let me try, because I think... Is this light better? No, I don't like it. Hold on. I'm fixing the light, y'all. Okay, because my eyes is too sensitive for this shit right now. But the thing is, you want to start your business, but you remember you started off getting an opportunity with the mafia. Now, one of the things that you have to consider is that even if you start your own, which is cool, you still have to run it through the families. Basically, whatever family, he has to go to the Bonanno family. It's like, look, I want to go ahead because I think I can start my own and all this type of stuff. Now, you also got to consider the consequences of, they're going to be like, if we see the money you make, and if you could be competition, you got 2 options. You either just solely work for us, or you can start your own and you can make a lot more money and pay yourself more, but you still got to give us a percentage. The third option is you just talk about you want to start your own. You don't care what they say. They're just going to pop your ass right in the air. So you have to consider all those things. Straight up. Because it's basically ain't no different from Crips and Bloods. Once you in, you in. Once you out, you out. And especially if you ain't Italian, and like they get in trouble with the feds and everything, if they was like, you're not Italian, we don't know you like that, you getting clipped, and that's it. They not about to play no games with
the
y'all.
mafia's boiler room. We don't really know how they reacted to this, and Michael would set up not one, but two boiler room scams of his own in South Florida. And by 2002, he had pocketed $155,000 of stolen money. However, he had spent virtually all of it on fancy hotels and cars and phone sex. But the good times would not last for $1,000 of stolen money. However, he had spent virtually all of it on fancy hotels and cars and phone sex. But
it's 2002. You got $155,000. Why did you pay for phone sex? At this point, just flash a little cash. You in Boca Raton. You in Florida. You ain't that far from Miami. Like, seriously, all you gotta do, bro. You could have got you a chick. She would have been a gold digger, but at the same time, you still would have had like a steady chick. You just buy her a nice little bag, let her go shopping a little bit. Jeez.
The good times would not last for Michael because in 2002, the police caught on to Michael's boiler room scams and they raided them, and Michael was arrested for a third time, except this time he would go to court, he would stand trial, and he would be sentenced to 2 years in prison, 28 years of probation, and he would be ordered to pay back the $155,000 that he stole. Michael would only serve 7 months of his 2-year jail sentence, but that was more than enough to leave a huge impact on him. Michael hated prison. He hated every second of it. And so during those long sleepless nights that he was laying awake in his cell, he made a promise to himself that when he got out, when he was released, he would never, ever come back.
He lied.
And so in 2003, when he was released, he immediately entered a sobriety program. He also started going to the gym every morning, and he began studying for his GED, which is a high school equivalency test because he didn't get his high school diploma. After he successfully earned his GED a couple of months later, he would also start a legal business. It was a digital marketing firm that was called Mad Money Inc. Over the next several years, Michael would do his very best to stay on the straight and narrow and not get in trouble, and for the most part, he did that. By 2008, Michael was still sober despite a few setbacks, and he was still very focused on his physical fitness and his health, and his business, Mad Money, was doing quite well, earning him nearly $100,000 a year. But his love life had become a bit messy. Michael had gotten married back in 2007 to his longtime girlfriend named Maria Luongo, who had stood by him when he went to jail. But that year, in 2008, when Michael was 38 years old, he cheated on Maria with a 26-year-old real estate agent named Dalia Mohammed, who he met at a Starbucks. And instead of their affair being a quick fling, as they likely both intended it to be, Michael and Dalia quickly fell in love. And when that happened, Michael went to his wife Maria and he told her, and then he divorced her. Just 3 days after the divorce finalized, Michael and Dalia went to the courthouse and they got married. The newlyweds would move into...
Why the fuck don't y'all take y'all time? You literally just got divorced, bro. Y'all need to stop. Excuse me. Y'all really need to stop, though. Like, there's no getting... I'm not waiting 3 days later to go ahead and get married. I'm not doing that after just getting divorced. If I've been married to you, I want to be single. I want to do whatever. I'm not doing this with y'all. He wouldn't marry this chick. So 9 times out of 10, he popped this chick. Or she popped him. I don't know. My fucking car house, bro. I'm just, this story about to get so juicy right now. Where's my cold drops? You told your wife. I wonder if you have to pay spousal support. A
brand new condo that Michael had purchased for them in Boynton Beach, which is a beautiful town in South Florida. And for a time, their life was perfect. They knew it was a little outrageous the way they had met each other and how quickly they had fallen for each other, but they didn't care. They got along great and they were excited about the future. But their perfect life would not last long. On the
You in position yet?
Working on it.
What's taking so long? I thought you
evening of March 12th, 2009, so only about a month after they had gotten married, Michael and Dahlia were at home in their condo when they heard a knock on the front door. And so Michael went to the door, he opened it up, and much to his surprise, standing on the other side was his probation officer, and behind him was a whole bunch of police officers. And before Michael could even ask what was going on, the probation officer told Michael that they had received an anonymous call tipping them off that Michael was selling steroids and ecstasy pills and other drugs out of his condo. Michael would tell the probation officer that there was no way that was true. He is not selling any drugs, he's sober, he's not doing that. And so eventually Michael just stepped aside and said, please come in, search my condo, I have nothing to hide. And so sure enough, the police, they would go into his condo, they would search it, but they wouldn't find anything, and they would leave. And so after the police had gone, Michael and Dahlia found themselves just standing in their condo, completely dumbfounded. But instead of trying to get to the bottom of it right then and there about who had called and why, they just decided it was best for them to just leave their condo for the night and go stay at a nice hotel. And so they packed up some bags, they left their condo, which was a total mess from the police search, and they went.
And that's one thing. First of all, y'all need to tell me off rip. Y'all got the tip off. Okay, where's your warrant? I don't give a damn whether if it's true or not. Even I need to see the fucking warrant. You ain't coming up in my place, first of all. Second of all, if y'all do come in my place and y'all looking through stuff, you better put that shit back. Because I'm not cleaning up behind them grown ass people y'all fucking up my house. Because y'all looking for shit. Put it back. Third of all, who the fuck told y'all that I was selling stuff out my house? Because if that was the case, if I'm selling them type of drugs and I'm getting that type of money, you think I'm going to be here? Off rip? All that would be in an offshore account. You wouldn't even must know about it. It wouldn't even be in my house. Yeah, y'all gotta think ahead of the game. Come on, man. Y'all done watched enough Scarface, Casino, Shotters, Belly, all that stuff. Y'all done watch these movies. Y'all already know how the game's supposed to go. Stop playing.
Went to the hotel and they had a nice night together. The next morning, when they got up and headed down to the parking lot, they saw up ahead, standing around Michael's car, was Michael's probation officer as well as several other police officers. And so Michael and Dahlia are looking at each other like, what is this, again? And so they hustle on over to Michael's car, and before they can even plead their innocence to Michael's probation officer, he stops Michael and just says, look, we got another anonymous call, this time telling us that you are selling drugs out of your vehicle, and so we need to search it. And so Michael is just totally beside himself, but he says, look, go ahead, search it. There's nothing in the car. And so sure enough, the police would open up his car, they'd rip it apart, but again, they wouldn't find anything. Over the next couple of weeks, the only thing Michael and Dahlia ever wanted to talk about was what the heck was going on. Who is placing these anonymous calls claiming that Michael was selling drugs out of the condo and out of the car? It just didn't add up.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. Now, listening to this, I really think it's his ex-wife. Because even though they're saying it's a prank, but I think it's his ex-wife doing this to him. A part of me really would think that solely because, I'm going to be honest, we women were vindictive as fuck. I stood by your ass while you was in jail. And then you cheat on me with this little bitch right here. And then you going to leave me after we get divorced 3 days later, y'all get married. And you move this bitch into a condo? You think I'm gonna rock with that? Nah.
They wanted to believe that this was all just one big mistake, but in the back of both of their minds, they were thinking about Michael's very checkered past and his previous dealings with the mafia and with people he had clearly ripped off. And so maybe there was someone in his past that was looking to get back at Michael and maybe get him arrested and sent back to jail. Fast forward to March 29th, so 17 days after that first raid on their condo, and that night, Michael and Dahlia had been eating dinner at a restaurant, and when they left and headed out to the parking lot, once again, standing around Michael's car were several police officers clearly waiting for him to return. And so without even...
I would like to say, just now, I don't give a fuck. This is harassment. Get comfortable in this bitch. This on bus up. This shit is harassment. You harassing me now. I don't give a fuck about my past. I have bad energy with all y'all fucking people. You fucking cops. Get your ass out of here.
even needing to ask why they were there. Michael and Dahlia, they go over to them and they just start pleading with them to understand that this is a setup. We do not have drugs in this car. We don't know what's going on here. Please, you got to understand that someone's doing this to us. But this time, when they searched his car, they would find something.
Oh, wait.
Before we go any further, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Experian. Back when I was just a young buck in college, I was broke.
Great.
And so now
Experian help y'all with y'all credit. That's basically what he about to tell y'all. Hold on. I'm just gonna plug up this damn computer right quick because it's about to die. And I'll need this. It's an ex-fucking wife. Or somebody you really ripped off bad. Like you took they fucking insurance money. Boy, I got it out for your ass today. Experian help you out.
Actually, I took out a credit card with a 5,000 in calzone credit trap and just closely blurs your FICO score and that dark web scan all for free.
Yeah, that's great.
After searching Michael's car, the police would find a small bag of cocaine stuck inside of a cigarette carton tucked underneath his spare tire in the trunk. And when Michael saw them pull the cocaine out, he began to cry because he knew, even though it was not his and he had not put it there, that he was going to jail because he was going to get arrested for possession and he was on probation and he was screwed. And so he just begins crying and pleading with police to understand that the cocaine was not his. He swears it's not his. Meanwhile, Dahlia, she's looking at the drugs and now she's second guessing herself. Is Michael lying? Is he actually selling drugs? And he's been lying to me too? But when she sees her husband crying hysterically and looking so sincere, she believes that he's got to be telling the truth. And so pretty soon she was standing beside Michael and pleading with police as well to let them go, that this was totally just a setup. And amazingly, these police officers who were aware of the previous raids on Michael and Dahlia's property, they told them, look, we do think this is pretty suspicious that somebody keeps calling in about you selling drugs and now magically the drugs are in your car. And so what we're going to do is we're going to confiscate this cocaine. We're not going to arrest you. Instead, go home, be safe, call us if you see anything strange, you hear anything strange, and we're going to begin investigating to figure out who is making all of these calls. And so Michael and Dahlia were totally relieved to...
Man, fuck that. Y'all can go ahead and track that fucking code. Don't stop playing. Y'all just don't want to... All cops be trying to hit their quota, bro. But they can track that damn call. Come on now. We have the technology for you to track shit. Y'all quick to you find us now in the cars, right? And not everybody who got iPhones, shouts out to y'all. Because now they got the little trackers on their phone too. So, and then, oh yeah, and Apple made that little disc where your chick or your dude could just throw it on in somewhere on your fucking car. It's about this big. And you talk about you going somewhere, but they tracking their ass to see where you going. Man, please.
Hear this, but at the same time, they were kind of terrified because clearly whoever was looking to get Michael in trouble now was prepared to break into his property in order to do it. And so what was stopping them from breaking into their condo and planting drugs in there as well? And so after these police officers left, Michael and Dahlia hopped in the car, they sped back to their condo and they went inside and they searched it top to bottom looking for any sign that anyone had recently been in there or if there were drugs or anything illegal inside of their condo. And after looking and finding nothing, they just locked their doors, shut their windows, shut the blinds, and just prayed that the police would be able to quickly identify who was doing this to them and make them stop. But over the next few months, the police would not figure out who this anonymous caller was because the caller stopped calling. And so for a little while, Michael and Dahlia were convinced that the whole ordeal was over and done with, and they basically returned to their normal lives. But on August 5th, 2009, roughly 4 months after the cocaine was found in Michael's car, the anonymous caller would come back with a vengeance. On that...
It's party time, people, and Raid Shadow Legends is having their 3rd birthday. And I gotta say, I wish...
That morning at around 5:45 a.m., Dahlia left the condo, leaving Michael in bed, and she headed out to the local gym to get a workout in. Around 6:30 in the morning, she stepped off the treadmill and she looked at her phone and she saw she had a missed call from a number she didn't recognize, and this number had left her a voicemail. And so she calls her voicemail, she puts it to her ear, and as she's listening, her heart starts to race because it was a Boynton Beach detective telling her there had been some sort of incident at her condo and she needed to come back right away. Terrified, Dahlia grabbed her things and she ran out of the gym. She got in her car and she called this number back. And when the detective picked up, she tried to get more information from him about what this incident was, what happened. And the detective would only say that it involved her husband, and he would explain everything when she came back. And so in a total state of shock, Dahlia turned on her car and she sped out of the parking lot and she headed back towards her condo. And when she turned onto her street and saw her condo, she hit the brakes and just stared. In front of her condo were all these police cars with their lights on, and police officers were walking around, and yellow crime scene tape was lining the outside of her property. And inside of the taped off area, there were all these crime scene photographers taking pictures of her condo. And so as Dahlia is sitting in her car at the top of the street, just staring at this crazy scene she's seeing, one of the Boynton Beach police officers sees her and walks up, and after confirming that she was Dahlia DiPolito, he said to her, leave your car here and come with me. And so Dahlia, who knows obviously something bad has happened, but really doesn't know the extent of it, she puts her car in park, she gets out, and she begins walking with this police officer over towards this cluster of 3 people that are standing right in front of her property. And it would turn out one of them was the detective who had called her on the phone. And so Dahlia's led over, and that detective, as soon as he sees Dahlia, he walks over to her and he says to her very matter-of-factly that someone had called about a disturbance in their condo and shots were fired, and unfortunately her husband Michael was dead. Dahlia, who was totally hysterical, was gently led away from her condo into a nearby police car, and they would drive her.
I remember this because I seen this I forgot what it was. I think it was court cam or something like that. That bitch put a hit out on her bag. First theory is gone. That bitch put a hit out on her dude. Her dude is still alive. She put a hit on him.
Her to the police station, where they would sit her down and begin asking her questions about her husband. And they would say to her, look, I know you just found this out, but we got to figure out what could have happened because a killer is on the loose. We need to find this person and stop them. And so at first, the conversation was really just Dahlia crying and the detective kind of calming her down. But eventually, she would tell the detective about the anonymous caller who kept calling the police and claiming Michael was selling drugs, and how she and Michael suspected that, probably the anonymous caller was connected to someone from his past, maybe someone from the mafia, or maybe one of the victims of his boiler room scam, or it could be any number of other people that Michael had done wrong in the past. And so the detective, he's taking diligent notes and he's listening to Dahlia. And then at some point in a break in the conversation, he says to Dahlia, okay, it's time to get serious. I need to know if you know this guy. And so Dahlia, she was kind of looking down and she looks up, confused what he's talking about. And then the door opens and this huge guy in handcuffs walks into the room.
Come here. Bring this guy in here. Get over here. Get over here.
Yeah.
You know who this guy is?
No,
You've never seen him before.
I've never seen him before. Ever.
Do you know her?
Put your head up and look at her.
Put your head up.
I've never seen him.
What were you doing coming out of her house? Get him out of here.
It would turn out Dahlia was lying. She did know who that guy was. Almost immediately after marrying Michael 6 months earlier, she had stolen $200,000 from him, but apparently that wasn't enough for her. She needed the rest of Michael's money as well as his condo. And so she had been the anonymous caller. She was the one calling the police and tipping them off that Michael was selling drugs out of the condo and out of his car. She was the one who planted the cocaine in the back of his car because she wanted him to get arrested because he was on probation and he would go back to jail for a really long time. But when her efforts failed and Michael did not get arrested and so did not go back to jail, Dahlia moved on to plan B. She reached out to one of her ex-boyfriends and she asked him, hey, do you know any hitmen that could murder my husband? And
that's what I'm saying. I saw this. It was on, I think it was on court cam. This bitch, she she really tried to off her husband, and she did a whole performance, crying hysterically like, oh my god. First of all, you made your mistake of calling your ex-boyfriend, because if anything, if you stole $200,000 from your husband, I know you done stole some money from this ex-boyfriend. He don't fuck with you like that. He probably like, yeah, I know some people. He probably didn't take you seriously, but no off rip, the moment that he goes to court, he's writing on your ass, and he does not care.
The ex-boyfriend at first didn't think she was serious, but when she kept asking him about it and began offering to pay and really was making it clear that she wasn't joking around, the ex-boyfriend basically told her, no, I don't know any hitmen. And then he, the ex-boyfriend, called the Boynton Beach Police Department and told them about Dahlia and her plan to hire a hitman to kill Michael. And so when the Boynton Beach Police Department found out about this plot, they immediately had one of their undercover agents pose as a hitman and set up a meeting with Dahlia. And so the undercover agent was that huge guy in handcuffs that was led into the room with Dahlia. And so Dahlia goes to meet the undercover agent, the fake hitman. She gets into his car, and there's a hidden camera in the back seat that's filming her the whole time. And she's caught on camera saying she wants to kill her husband. She gives money to the undercover agent. And then as she's about to get out, the agent turns to her and he says, are you sure you want to do this? Because as soon as you leave, it's done. I am going to kill Michael, and you can't stop it. This is Dahlia's reaction.
There's no changing. No, there's no, like, I'm determined already. I'm positive, like, 5,000% sure. Like, no, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Like, as soon as you told me, listen, I need the money from you, I went, I grabbed it right away. Like, we were good to go. Like, with me, you're not going to have a problem. You're not going to have an issue.
And so the Boynton Beach Police Department, they have all this information about what Dahlia thinks is going to happen, and they decide they can use this information to set her up in the most elaborate way possible. And it just so happened the very popular true crime TV show, Cops, was filming in the area. And so the Boynton Beach Police Department allowed Cops to be a part of this elaborate setup. So they got to film everything that happened. So on the morning of August 5th, Dahlia got up and left her condo at 5:45 a.m. and headed to the gym, knowing, at least in her mind, that the hitman would be coming to her condo right after her, breaking in and shooting her husband twice in the head, because that was the plan they had come up with that was captured on film. And so after the police see her leave at 5:45 a.m., because they were monitoring the condo, they rushed in, they knocked on the door, and they got Michael to come downstairs. And he had no idea his wife was trying to kill him. And so he comes to the door, he's totally confused, but he goes with them and he's kind of ushered off to the police station. And then for about the next hour, the police set up a very convincing fake crime scene right out front of the condo. And then once it was all set up, that detective called Dahlia and left her a voicemail saying that, you know, there's been this incident, you need to come back to your condo. And then a couple of minutes later, when Dahlia called them back and said, okay, I'm coming back to the condo now, that's when the TV crews for the Cops TV show, they kind of set up in the bushes and got ready to film what happened next.
Yeah.
Hey! Get down on the ground!
Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am, he's been killed. He's been killed. I'm sorry.
It's not.
Listen,
No.
try to calm down. Listen, right now we need to get you to the station.
No.
We need to get you to the police station. I can't let you in, man. We have to do our job.
After the fake hitman was pulled out of the interrogation room after Dahlia had said, oh, I don't know who he is, the detective just stared at her in total silence for a minute. And then he broke the news that he totally knew all about her murder plot and that she was going to jail.
And then Michael comes in. Oh my God, Michael!
You're going to jail today for solicitation of murder. You're under arrest. That's an undercover police officer. Everything has been recorded. You were photographed in the convertible when you sat in his car in the front of CVS. What do you want to do? What do you want to do here?
I didn't do anything.
Listen to me.
I didn't do anything.
You're going to jail.
I didn't do anything. Please, I didn't do anything.
Tell me you didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything.
You're going to jail today. As soon as I'm done, they're going to come in here and handcuff you and take you to the Palm Beach County Jail, book you for solicitation of first-degree murder on your husband. Your husband is well and alive.
Thank God.
Oh, yeah, thank God.
Please, can I see him?
No, he doesn't want to see you.
I don't want to see him.
He doesn't want to see you.
Please.
After Dahlia was arrested, she was still sitting in that interrogation room when the Boynton Beach Police Department made a special point of walking Dahlia's husband, Michael, past the open door so she could see him. Here's her reaction.
Oh my God. Come here, please. Come here. Mike, come here. Come here, please. Come here.
Can't fix it.
Why not? I didn't do anything
I
to
heard
you. Mike, come here, please. Come here.
Okay. One second, back, both of you, please.
Dahlia was initially sentenced to 20 years in prison for what she had done, but after a retrial because of jury bias, her sentence was reduced to 16 years.
Well, that ain't nothing on the 4 years.
So that's going to do it. If you got something out of today's episode and you haven't done this already, please ask the like button. If you
I have got out of here. You cannot trust some bitches. You just can't. Any bitch that will fuck with you when you know you with somebody, bro, that's the one you gotta watch. That's the one you gotta watch. She calling the police. She know you on probation, so she calling the police trying to get you set up. Then she put the drugs in your car. Now she's trying to get you fucking. Is she trying to get your ass checked out? Like, seriously? And she did that whole, that wasn't even an Oscar winning performance. For real. That was like good for like cosplay or something. But I do her face look familiar. I'm sorry I'm coughing, y'all. But I was going to give y'all some videos today. Y'all know this. I can't let y'all down. We've been doing real good with it. I've been trying to keep up with stuff. But that's your girl. 16 years. Mike. At least I hope you keep. I still hope you kept yourself on track after all this. You know. Stay single for a little bit. Get to know bitches right quick. Anybody that cheats with you will fuck you over. Just letting you know. Anyway. Oh, shit. Oh my God, I didn't do anything. Bitch, you on recording. Like, they just told you that they on recording. And jury bias. What the fuck is that? I forgot what that is. It was like... Oh, like, I guess one person had already made up their mind, I guess, before the trial even started, while even hearing it. So they just automatically was just like, she's guilty. But you can't do that as a juror. Then again, I'm one of those people, I don't even like to go to jury duty. Like, when I get that summons, I'll be like, shit. And I already know I'm going to say to not be, I'm just like, say, look, I'm going to tell you off rip. If they're guilty, I don't even know what it is. But anyway... I love these MrBallen videos. But anyway, again, shouts out to Gloria and Dante for putting me on the MrBallen, man. I love it. We're going to do more of these. I love these. But anyway, I hope you guys like these videos. You like, comment, share, subscribe. And also, again, hit up the super thanks. Leave me up any videos you want to see me react to. I love y'all so much. And I'm going to catch y'all for the next video. Actually, I'm going to do a couple more videos. This one's going to go up like right after I get it all set up. It's going to go straight to live. But I love y'all. We're going to see y'all for the next one. Later.